Yep, the time has finally arrived. I never thought an update being so bad and so controversial would ever come to TDS, well, you know, until PvP came around, would also arrive as well. And this is, of course, the balancing updates. Now, I'm certain a lot of your guys' favorite YouTubers have already dwelled on this for far too long, a while ago, so I might not as well yap longer for 10 long minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and rush through this as quickly as possible and talk about the big things. Ever since the Tesla Tower came out alongside the balancing update, it has been an insanely devastatingly terrible changes to so many towers in the game. As you guys know, alongside the Tesla Tower that was introduced into TDS, we got a balancing update, which is pretty much a fancy term of saying nerfing every tower is more or less accurate. Because this balancing update literally nerfed a huge amount of towers to where they are just terrible after this quote-unquote balancing update tweaks. First and foremost, the most obvious, the electroshocker. As you guys know, this man is been tweaked so badly that literally at max level, he can stun up to 3 enemies. Fucking 3! And does very little damage and is just essentially a completely useless tower. But guess what? You get to place down more than 10, which is pretty much just nothing, essentially. Now, the main reason why they're nerfing the electroshocker to an inch of his life is mainly because obviously the Tesla Tower being another stun, heavy damaging troop doesn't make sense for it being also another stun damaging troop. So they decided to say, hey, Tesla Tower, you are now the new electroshocker. But that's not all, because the electroshocker is just one example. There are so many other towers that got insanely nerfed as well. As an example, the Pursuit, who's now 5,000 to place down for some reason, and does so horrifically low damage on all levels, especially the top upgrade final level, and also his range is just such a small range that, in all honesty, I don't even see him at all being like an A tier character or just tower whatsoever. And then the biggest one, the Farm. Now, I never particularly used the Farm. I actually can't even remember the last time I used it, so I find it kind of funny that this thing got obliterated with so many nerfs that it's just blatantly terrible. Like, look at this amount of money it gives you. It is fucking terrible. Which is pretty funny to all the farm mains, because now they actually have to cooperate with their team and not just, you know, being selfishly greedy. Then, of course, the biggest one in this entire thing, the Accelerator. For some reason, they immensely decreased his damage and rate of fire in exchange for him literally firing for literally an infinite amount of time for an insane price. Now, I used him in a few matches and Jesus Christ, he takes bloody forever to first off charge up his literal laser and also just to kill something, and by the time he starts firing after charging up his laser, I've already been asleep and in a coma for 5 years. Then of course, sadly, my sweet boy, the G Cowboy. They for some reason nerfed this man out of existence, as he now does basically no damage in the early levels, but you know, shoots faster, which is bruh, and also basically gives 0 to no money for some reason. G Minigunner, what's there to say? Literally, he's just insanely weak now, just, you know, firing more faster for some reason. But guess what? The best change came out, and that is a buff to the Gladiator. You know, that guy who literally was the most dead tower in the game? Yeah, they finally gave him some buffs, and I haven't even tried him, but I think he's just gonna be meh. Just nothing, you know, insane still. But also, someone that also got insanely nerfed, at least, is the Commander. They decreased the rate of fire buff from 50% to 40%. Holy shit, that is a massive gap, just like the fucking Grand Canyon. He's not bad, but he is definitely not as powerful as he used to be. And then, for some reason, we have the two GOATs of TDS currently, in my opinion, the Engineer and the Warlock. Engineer has always been pretty solid at the game, and for some reason they made it to where she gains hidden detection for her sentry turrets at level 2, which is fucking crazy, and the fact that she can do so much damage even more with her weapon basically makes it to where she's pretty much like the best early game tower probably in the game currently. So yep, get ready to see everyone using an Engineer as soon as the game starts. And then of course the Warlock, I used him. He is still really strong, doing a fuck ton of damage with his laser blaster, and of course his melee shank with speed, and of course range and damage, and of course blood makes it to where he chops up his fuckers as quickly as a sushi restaurant. And these are just the few towers that I decided to talk about, but you get the point. There are so many other towers that also got big nerfs, and that's the whole point about this update. These were all just nerfs, not buffs at all. And I have a feeling that this is mainly to tackle the whole issue about how TDS is too easy. And honestly, I do see that, because TDS has been way too easy for a very long time, except, you know, when events come around and when you're playing literally with randoms. If you want a challenge in TDS, play on a limited time event with randoms and then come back here and talk about TDS being too hard. Seriously, that's an actual challenge. But aside from that, TDS has always just been an easy game, and them nerfing pretty much every single tower to the inch of their lives has basically been one of the most bizarre things I can ever imagine them doing. But then again, they never fix PvP, so what should I have expected? My general question is, why did they have to nerf every single super strong tower to where they're just not even that good anymore? Have you guys ever thought about, you know, adding modifiers to basically every single game mode? Have you guys ever thought about tweaking them to make them even harder? Just like the Fallen one they did, which honestly I think is pretty solid. Or you guys, you know, have ever thought about tweaking the towers just slightly and not literally nerfing them out of existence? And also, for some reason, I noticed that a lot of these towers just have increased placement limits or just completely removed their limits, so I don't really understand that part as well. But it looks like they're trying to make the game harder in exchange for the very soon hardcore rework, which I will never be playing because I've already beaten it, so I don't really care at all at this point. But even still, why do you care about making everything so hard to where hardcore is making everything so bad to where hardcore is now just impossible when you're already gonna rework hardcore? Just do hardcore! It's that easy. Don't have to do the entire game again. But generally, this update has just been so bizarre to me. Why would they just nerf so many towers so hard to where literally they're not even good anymore? Like, I'm pretty sure no one's gonna even use the accelerator more, especially when he's 10 times more expensive, 10 times more shittier, and 10 times more outclassed by the fucking Warlock, okay? But I mean, what should I have really expected? TDS is very unpredictable, especially when they spend a majority of their time, you know, working on a different game instead of fixing the game, instead of fixing PvP, instead of fixing the bugs and glitches that have been here for years. They've instead been doing a Dead by Daylight clone parody for some reason. And also, they've been selling their own merch, so it's pretty clear that they're just mainly more focused on money than actual players being, you know, happy in their fan base. But in the end, what can I really expect from the same people who delayed this newly released tower for 4-ish months? And never fix any of the bugs and biggest issues in the game, even still to this day. Definitely another W for Tower Delay Simulator.